The Olszynski Law Firm is an official sponsor of TopBin90, specializing in personal injury, criminal defense, DWI, family law, and workers' compensation. The Olszynski Law Firm provides professional, trusted legal services to clients facing a variety of challenges. With a team of experienced attorneys dedicated to protecting your rights, the Olszynski Law Firm is the legal support you can count on.
Hi, I'm Justin Olszynski, the founding partner of the Olszynski Law Firm. Me and my wife started this firm back in 2010 with the sole purpose of providing excellent service to our clients, giving our clients a personal touch because we had worked in bigger firms where we saw that not happening. We handle criminal defense matters, civil personal injury, wrongful death, workers' comp, and family law matters. We have a team of attorneys that care about the outcome of your case, and we will fight to make sure that you get the justice you deserve.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the TopBin90 Podcast. This is the Ashley Westwood episode because he's 35. This is our episode number 35. We're coming off of a very, very hot Charlotte FC. 4 wins on the bounce. The team's hot. It was hot Saturday. I'm here with my co-host, Mr. Brian. How are you today?
Doing well. Winning fixes all wounds.
It really does. Most of them. Although Dean said May still feels a little tough, right? And we also have Mr. Tono, who is part of the Charlotte FC Radio en Español and Los Panthers. How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good.
Always good being with you.
Nice. And then we also have the owner of the pub here, Mr. Eddie. How are you today?
Good. How are you doing?
Good, good. It's always good to come on after a win, right?
Absolutely. Thank you for having me back.
For sure, for sure. All right, so let's touch on a couple of things. Obviously, you know, Charlotte FC, another win against Toronto at home. The first time in club history to win 4 on the bounce, which is phenomenal, right? After a very, very tough May, you know, this 5-game stretch has done really well for Charlotte. I'll start off with you, Brian. Give us your thoughts on the match.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a match where they set up really well in terms of they matched up well against Toronto. Toronto's in a situation where they're just complete rebuild mode. They finally were able to get rid of the Italians. They, Fraser's just kind of dealing with a sinking ship right now, and so I had high expectations for Charlotte to be able to get another result. A little bit of sketchiness in the first half, especially just the energy was not quite there.
Yeah.
They still had 2 good chances where they hit the woodwork, so they still looked like the better team, but definitely didn't feel super confident going into the second half based on how I saw the first half play out. But they responded quickly, got 2 goals. The main thing for me was actually that Richie Larea, the amount of space he left in behind. I called that in the first half when I was talking to Riley, one of our other crew.
Shout out to Riley.
I was saying there's space in behind if Vargas can find a way to attack it. And he was able to find that space in the second half of the second goal. Class performance to be able to finish it off and respond in the second half.
Nice. Tono, it was a hot day. Do you think that affected the team, maybe that first half? Because the team felt a little sluggish. Brant talked about them being lethargic.
Well, for both teams, because Toronto's not used to this heat.
That's a good point, too.
Second half, you could actually see how exhausted the Canadian side was. But I think this, honestly, was probably one of our worst first halves at home all year. I was very surprised of how Toronto just deployed everything. I think Alonso Coelho in the midfield, he was just dropping back between the center backs, and that gave Laria and the fullbacks more space to operate. We didn't have the ball that much time during the first half, and I think that was because of this mechanism of Alonso Coelho just opened up a lot of space, and we kind of struggled in the first half. Not many chances, but we hit the crossbar twice.
Yeah.
So Toronto, they had the ball more, but they were not as sharp and decisive in the last third. They were not that dangerous. But, Malanda had a header to the crossbar.
Toclomati.
It was a lucky chance that Toclomati has.
Yeah.
A defender, kind of deflected it. But we had 2 interesting chances there, but we were not that sharp in the first half. But second half, I think everything changed. For me, Charlotte is just recovering their memory from,
early part of the
before
season.
May. Because May was a tough month just to play overall.
Very tough month. Eddie, Vargas,
scored a goal on his bobblehead night. You couldn't have asked for anything better from him, right?
Actually, that was perfect. I think if you're going to score a goal, that would be the game 2 score a goal. Like, I was nervous because the first goal didn't come until like the 60th minute.
Yeah.
So, and like I said, the first half was not very good from Charlotte, but luckily we got it done. We got a couple chances at the end there, hit the crossbar, kind of missed, a couple that were saved. This game could have easily been 4-0.
Yeah, for sure. I saw a lot of people with their bobbleheads too, like kind of flipping it as well. So I kind of love that. Brian, you were going to add something?
I was just going to say you can't use heat as an excuse when you're the Southern team going up against a Canadian
Right.
team. So
Yeah, for sure. That's
if
fair.
that was going to be the issue in the second half, we were going to have some real problems there.
Yeah, that's a very good point. All right, I want to touch a little bit on this front three that we're seeing now, right? Of Zaha, Toklomati, and Abada, right? Abada has really, or not Abada, sorry, Vargas, right? Vargas has really, pushed himself into that starting lineup, and he's taken that spot from Abada, which, I mean, if I'm a DP player, I'm concerned with that. And, we're seeing a better version of Vargas. He's listening to Dean. He said he kept his shot low, right? Scored, right? What do you make of this front three? I'll start with you, Tono.
For Vargas specifically, I think Dean values him a lot because of his defensive work rates.
Correct.
The way he helps Bill Tuiloma, that he's not really a right back, but he's been playing solid. I mean, he's contributing when he's needed. And that mindset, if you're a winger, I know that you ask wingers to score. He's scoring now. He looks with a lot of confidence. But the way he just tracks back and helps on defense, that's super valuable in soccer right now. And if your coach is asking you to do that, I think that's why Kerwin's starting more over Liel Abada. That he's had some good stretches, but I don't know, it's just an inconsistency of Liel Abada so far. But Kerwin is taking advantage of that opportunity, and that's why he's starting.
Yeah, Brian, Zaha, right, was able to pick that pass to Vargas. He talked a little bit Saturday about, what Dean is asking of him. And, he's a player that's creating more. He's being involved more in the build-up, right? So talk to me about his game and what have you seen?
Yeah, you nailed it right there on the head. And even Zaha said in the post-match presser, he's like, I'm not usually the passer, but he's doing what it takes to help the team win. And also, I would say the chip pass over the top to Toklomati was really sick one. Toklomati doesn't have the finish, but that could have been like one of the passes of the week in all of MLS if that had gotten the finish. But yeah, he's been excellent of late. It seems like he's gotten way more comfortable. He's also found more space to operate. I think that's been
Because of Marshall Rudy, maybe.
Yeah, Marshall Rudy, the way he kind of.
I like when they play together on that same side.
Yeah,
he just clears out the way a little bit for Wilf.
Yep, Antonio, you also mentioned Tuiloma, and I feel like another thing that he brings in that, sort of like the elbow back on the right side, is just more service towards the left. I feel like you've got now three guys, Malanda, Tuiloma, and Westwood, who can all hit that diagonal pass over to Zaha and switch the field.
Yeah.
And then you got Zaha receiving the ball in space from that diagonal pass, and then Marshall Rudy running up fast, and then providing that quick outlet.
But
right?
if
I feel like that combination really has provided success.
I think that's a great point that you made. Like the long range passing on this team, especially because you also got Tim Ream that can provide that. You also have Ashley Westwood who he had the pass to Toklomati that hit the post too.
And I think Malanda leads the lead in long passes.
Right. Yeah.
So, but if you see it this way, the defensive shape is what we used to play with Nathan on the right side and Tim Ream as a left back, like a center back turning to a left back. But now he flipped the sides to the right with Tuiloma being, playing that kind of a third center back role. When we had Nathan healthy, they switched everything to the left side with Tim Ream being in that position. So it's kind of the same defensive shape that we've been missing since Nathan got hurt. But now you just switch it to the right side.
Eddie, Idan Toklomati, 6 goals, I believe now, 2 assists in his first 1,000 MLS minutes. We're not missing Patrick.
Oh, not at all. If I was reading correctly, I remember he has about the same goal contributions as Patrick did prior to him leaving this season. So I think he's filling in great. I think he's going to be a star. It just takes time, and he's got to be in the game a little bit more, get more in-game experience.
Nice.
He's going to work out well.
Awesome, yeah. What do we make of Ashley Westwood, right? 100 appearances for Charlotte FC now. I think, Fuchs was kind of that captain that first season, right? And then Ashley came in, and, he's really, elevated the team. Obviously, like this season, he's had some ups and downs, but he's been a phenomenal captain for Charlotte.
Yeah, I mean, I still think if any player on this team, if they hit their ceiling, the team's ceiling is the highest when Ashley Westwood's at his best. I just feel like the amount of different traits he has and what he can provide to this team is still just more different elements than any other player. His ability to help create in the final third, his ability to drop deep and help progress the ball quickly with either short passing or long passes over the top, his ability to make recovery runs, all those different things, his leadership. When he's at his best, he leads the team, and he's already at least a top 3 in like 4 or 5 different skill sets. And so I feel like the ceiling of this team is still dependent on Westwood down the stretch.
Well, now we have to see how's life after Ashley Westwood, because he's going to be suspended for the Cincinnati game. Maybe Leagues Cup games can help Dean figuring out which midfielders can fit in that role, if it's going to be Diani, if it's going to be Williamson with Bronico. I think Leagues Cup can provide that just moment to check which players can help you when Ashley is suspended, or if he's hurt, or if he misses some time like he's going to see against Cincinnati. So, again, I think Leagues Cup will show you which players are ready to fit in that Ashley Westwood role.
Nice. Anything else you want to add on Ashley Westwood, Eddie?
No, I think he covered it all.
Nice. Awesome. All right, let's also talk about, I guess we'll get into this next topic next, which is, we've seen a major improvement in this team the last 5 games, right? 13 points out of 15. A draw against Orlando, which that game we were leading 2-0 as well, right? And, the ability to go to Atlanta, get a win, 13 points out of the last 15. What are some of the improvements that you guys are seeing in this team? Brian, I'll start off with you.
An easier strength of schedule and home games. I think right out of the rip, I mean, it's a huge change. And I mean, Zaha has said it, Dean has said it. I mean, May was a tough month, and the schedule was a big factor in that. When we saw the team playing against weaker opponents on the road, Toronto as an example, Montreal, they were able to get some results. It was when they were having to play a lot of playoff teams on the road and consistently week after week after week, it dragged on them, and you could tell.
Yeah.
And I feel like having some home games, I mean, obviously they had that one stint. I think what really threw fans off was you had all the tough road games, and then you threw in that Chicago result at home. It was like, okay, they don't have any reprieve, and I think that's when fans really started, and media started to really just question the team. But the fact that they were able to get right back in home form, get that win against Columbus, I think was the first trend to show the team that they could still do it at home. And then this latest streak of just home games against favorable opponents, I feel like for me that's the biggest part. Dean circled this 5-game stretch as well. He said this is a stretch that you really got to take advantage of, and they did. And so now it's a matter, I think there's still questions for me.
Sure.
How do they handle a road game, especially against tough teams? Because that's going to be it looks like they're going to make the playoffs, right? I think after this stretch, they're pretty much looks locked in or close to it for 8th or 9th at least. And so it's a matter of just how do you handle the road game against a tough team? And I think that's still a huge question mark.
Yeah, Tono, defensively, I still think we've looked a little lackluster, right? But I'd have liked Melanda's game against this Saturday. He was phenomenal as well, right? He's our Rolls Royce in the defense.
Absolutely. And again, to me, one of the keys of just winning again in this very positive streak, again, is the defensive shape, is the way Dean wants this team to be built from the bottom line, just to, start linking up the play with the same, shape that he used with Tim Ream as a left back and Nathan to the right. We talked about how he flipped that to the right side, and it's, the fitness level is a factor, as you said, Brian, and the confidence, the team is just, again, it's just recovering, for those moments early in the season, how this team played. Saha is just distributing the ball better. He's more confident again. So, but to me, again, one of the keys is the defensive shape, the fitness level. Those two things combined, that's why you have 5 games unbeaten so far.
Nice. Eddie, we've also seen an improvement in Kalina. MLS goalkeeper of the year last year. In May, he took a big dip as well. Just how important is it seeing him kind of get back to that Kalina-esque level?
Well, I think what I'm seeing is a lot of his confidence, I think, has improved.
Yeah.
And has gotten better, and that's carrying over from game to game. I mean, he had a couple of huge saves this past week.
Yep.
And he's just been better, getting better and better as time progressed. From how he was playing in May versus how he's playing now, I think he's improving significantly.
For sure. I want to add to what Tono said. Like, to me, it feels still like a combination defensively. Up top, we've still been phenomenal. I still think that there's gaps in the midfield that sometimes get exploited a lot. But, having Pep BL on a phenomenal form, having Idan Toklomati score, having Zaha, continue to become an important player, that front three, and then Vargas adding goals, helping defensively, that really has, turned our team around. And as we're looking at this transfer window, too, like, to me, I'm like, I need somebody in the midfield, right? Like, obviously, like, we're going to get some fullback help shortly. You need somebody to help Idan Toklomati. But to me, like, looking at that midfield, we need another maybe more box-to-box 8 that can help up top.
Well, and again, you brought Eric Williamson for a reason. I would love to see more minutes of Eric in that maybe box-to-box role next to Ashley or next to, again, who's going to replace West? What is going to be Diani? I think he has the tools to be that type of player in the midfield. Bronico, we know his role pretty well, but it's just some moments in the game, and we saw it last week against Toronto, that you were not having a lot of possession. You were losing the numbers game in the midfield. So, and we're also adapting to the life without Patrick Ayemang. I think the attacking configuration is a little bit different because Toklomati is a completely different striker. Yeah. Not to say that he's worse or better, but he's just different than Patrick Ayemang. But the balance that he has with the ball, the composure, the way he links up the play, those things, and the calmness just to finish. The calmness to finish from a 20-year-old kid.
Yeah.
So I think it's just following the same path that they gave Patrick in a way. From Crown Legacy to be a starter, scoring, and now you're the striker. You're our main guy. I think they're respecting that same track, just like Idan is
which is kind
really
of insane because, I mean, like, when I saw him come up, I'm like, okay, he's got some level. Like, let's try him out. He'll be a good depth piece, but he's earning that 9th spot game after game.
But I agree, we need another 9 just to compete and come off the bench. No, definitely.
Sure. But you have to, like, also, I mean, it's like how Ajiman earned the spot off of 2 DPs, right? You have to kind of give them a chance, point. And then you get rewarded for giving players that opportunity to earn those spots and win those spots, and you earn it with now you've given Ajiman Ajiman got a big transfer. He got the deal he wanted. Toklomati now sees the pathway forward for him, and that gives extra motivation, right? Because then it's like, okay, well, if I get the move I want, I'm going to get it because I have, like, this team is sent. Another thing that, like, we haven't really touched on is Charlotte FC hasn't really sent that player on to their next move in a positive way too often in the transfer market. Karol Swiderski, like, kind of left on, like, not so great terms. A lot of these moves away have kind of been, like, desperation moves, but the Ajiman move was a really positive win-win move for everyone.
For sure.
And so having those kind of moves helps set up these other young players with the confidence knowing that, like, hey, there's a pathway for me, whether it's with Charlotte FC or beyond.
Yep.
Yeah. 100%. Okay, just moving on to our next topic. I want to touch on Adilson Malanda, right? Obviously, he was rumored with going to PSV. Sounds like personal terms were in agreement. Yeah. Again, it's the same case with Patrick Ajiman, where Charlotte are in the driver's seat. He signed a new contract, right? So knowing our front office, they're going to ask for a pretty penny for Adilson Malanda, and they can point now to the success of Ajiman, saying, we sold this guy for 8. And, Malanda's ceiling, as a defender is high. And you could tell, like, he knows that his next step is Europe.
Yeah.
He said it, but do you think we can hold on to him, through this summer window and actually have him till the end of the season?
I really think, you talked about Charlotte FC in the driver's seat. I do think a part of it is also on Malanda a little bit. It seems like he's interested in a move in Europe. Obviously, Charlotte FC likely will be able to negotiate and can kind of convince him to be like, hey, look, this is kind of where we're at through this season. Look at where we're going. This is an opportunity for you to kind of finish this off with some success here as a team. And I'm sure Melanda could buy into that as well. So I think it really kind of comes down to a couple of those factors. It seems like, I mean, PSV also, didn't they also recently, PSV is the most interested team, and they got a center back, didn't they?
They signed a center back from Valencia.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
they're probably kind
they're
of
looking
locked
for
in.
maybe another option.
Oh, really? Okay, so it kind of, I would imagine there's a couple of factors there, but Charlotte FC have set themselves up well for this. So, I mean, as long as Melanda's happy, I think they should be good to go.
Yeah.
Either way.
Does it concern you, Tono? Because, I mean, we saw something similar happen with Swiderski second season under Latanzio where he was pushing for the move. Charlotte didn't give it to him. Would you be concerned on, I don't know, maybe Melanda's professionalism or trying to push himself out of the team?
Well, I kind of feel that Swiderski pushed a little bit more than Melanda. I think Adilson looks really comfortable here. I also think the team brought Team Green for a reason. Yeah. You know, you have also Andrew Privet, which is also following this Crown Legacy path that we've talked about and developing your own guys. And you kind of, you know, you feel safe with team on the team again. And Privet, you know, he's now on the bench a little bit, but I don't see Adilson is the next one to leave. Like he has the level to play in Europe, and we got to realize that. I'm not sure it's gonna be this summer.
And the other thing with like the difference between like Karol Swiderski and Adilson is like Karol Swiderski at the time was like also playing out of position a lot, right? He wasn't really playing the
and he
nine.
also
played,
That's a good point.
He played the World Cup. He played the World Cup for Poland. So it's a different window.
And I do feel like Melanda's got a little bit more like hype in terms of like the potential is still there, like longer term in terms of just the ceiling hasn't been reached there. Whereas Karol Swiderski is more like,
and he's also younger than Swiderski and Ajaman, so maybe
maybe they can hold on.
Let's keep Melanda for 6 more months.
Yeah. Eddie, you think we'll be able to keep Melanda on at least through this summer window?
I think through the summer window, yes. I think after this season, we'll have to reevaluate how everything goes and whether he wants to stay or whether he wants to leave, whether he's happy or not.
Yeah.
I think that'll ultimately determine whether he stays or whether he goes.
And remember that Thomas Schalling that worked here for Charlotte FC, he is PSV director of scouting.
He knows.
He scouted Melanda in League 2, so that's his guy.
Yeah, for sure. I would also add that, like, I think at least when you know the league more in MLS, you understand that that's just the natural progression.
Like,
right? Like,
Bombito, for example, that he just he had a great 6 months, great year with Canada, and he's playing in Europe now.
Yeah, for sure. And I think like like you said earlier, we can't be surprised that our top players want to make that next move. Patrick Ajiman bet on himself. He's making that next move. And Adilson Melanda will want that as well. But that just speaks volume, like you said, Brian, about like our ability to scout good players and move them on. We're still not hitting on the DPs the way we need to hit. But I think everywhere else we're doing a phenomenal job.
And one other aspect of the driver's seat is we do have backup options at center back.
Yeah.
Privet, maybe not quite in the best form of his life like last year, but still starting caliber player in MLS. Tui Loma and Ream, both starting caliber players in MLS. You have options at center back. So if Melanda goes while he's, at this point, in terms of age and talent, probably the best center back out of this group, but you have other starting caliber options. At the end of the day, you talked about it earlier, midfield is maybe the bigger question mark.
100%.
So whether Melanda's there or not, is not going to be the difference in terms of can you actually control games and possess the ball with more confidence.
And the fullback situation with guys getting hurt, we have to see, what level Nathan's going to show.
Dumbia as well.
Dumbia is hurt again, so probably need a fullback help as well.
Yeah, for sure. I love that. All right, let's move on to Leagues Cup, right? And so now we're moving on, different tournament. 3 Mexican teams. We're playing Juarez. We're playing Chivas. We're playing Monterrey, right? I like obviously Juarez we'll see, but Chivas and Monterrey, I really love seeing that like atmosphere of other league teams. And just knowing what we know about how Chivas travels or Monterrey, right? Like, I'm kind of excited about that too because we saw that with Fluminense. Fans taking over Uptown.
Absolutely.
And so I love seeing like that extra flavor, right, coming into this tournament, right? So talk to me about Leagues Cup. What are you guys expecting? We touched a little bit on like maybe seeing rotation. What else do you want to see?
I just love the fact that MLS and Liga MX like adjusted the format to what it is this
I love
year.
this new format. This
The
is
new
way
format,
better. Way better.
Just having MLS
Touch on the
versus
format
Liga.
a little bit for people that don't know.
So MLS. So last year, the issue with the crowds was they had a bunch of random MLS versus MLS teams, and Liga MX versus Liga MX
In
teams
Seattle,
that were just
for
random
no reason,
spots.
yeah.
And so this year they really set it up to where MLS teams are playing only Liga MX teams. That's why Charlotte's playing Juarez, Chivas, and Monterrey, and that's how it's going across the whole format. And then what's happening is you're accumulating points, and the top 4 MLS teams and the top 4 Liga MX teams will meet in a quarterfinal. And so it makes it very competitive because you have to earn pretty much all your points, right? Because, I mean, only the top 4 out of 18, so less than 25% chance of making the quarterfinal round. So these games are going to be very competitive, and it just sets up for unique atmospheres because it's always going to be MLS versus Liga MX. So they really, I think, kind of fixed the issues and just the outcry of what people kind of wanted from last season. And so while the probability of advancing is way lower, the atmosphere and the opportunity for just big game potential, I think, is way higher.
Nice. Eddie, seeing, 3 Mexican teams, we kind of felt that flavor of a Brazilian team, right? What are you expecting from this League's Cup?
Well, it's going to be a very lively games. I think especially the Chivas and Monterrey games. You're going to see a lot of people from a huge Mexican crowd. I think hopefully they'll take over Uptown, bring a little flavor, to Uptown. I'm looking forward to it.
Nice. Love that. Tono, I want you to answer this question from Ronnie. He said, should we let our guys play heavy minutes and rest and just play younger guys in League's Cup, or go full send and try to compete?
I think it's going to be a mix. And for the first game against Juarez, you can mix some of the players and rotate a lot of positions. You cannot do that against Chivas or Monterrey because against, these very good oppositions, Juarez is, I think we're going to face like 3 different tiers of Mexican level, of Liga MX level.
Yeah.
Juarez being the lowest. Probably. Yeah. Chivas, which is getting really good now. Bunch of, interesting players. If you guys don't know, Chivas only plays with Mexican players. That's part of their old-time policy. They now allow like dual citizens like Kate Cowell. Kate Cowell is playing for Chivas. And Monterrey, they just play in the World Cup, in the Club World Cup. So
and did
that's
well.
the 3 different tiers. They could have beaten
It's a great way of putting
Dortmund.
it. Yeah.
So I think it's going to be an interesting exercise for Dean just to, again, try all these players that can contribute to you for the last stretch of the MLS season, but also compete for an international spot that if you win it, they're going to give you a CONCACAF Champions League spot. So
so it's
that's
three
table.
spots,
Three
right?
spots, yeah.
So you get the teams that make the final get one, and then there's the best third.
Correct. Yeah.
Third place also gets it. So obviously, I love how you broke that down. We'll see different tiers. Chivas won't be having Chicharito, Interesante.
Not that interesante, to be honest. Not anymore.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, there's a cool thing about playing Chivas. Do you guys remember the first goal that was scored at Bank of America Stadium in an MLS game?
It was,
Against
Efrain,
Galaxy.
right?
Efrain Alvarez, he plays for Chivas.
Yeah.
So he's going to be here.
Yeah, listen, I got it, dog. He scored a banger against us, too. Yeah.
He's never scored that again in his life.
Yeah. Yeah, he was at Galaxy at that time. And Chicharito.
And Chicharito.
Yeah, but he won't
They'll both be here.
Nice. Obviously, and I also think, there's a good opportunity to go far in this tournament as well, right? And so
it's going to be tough, like Brian said. The
it'll
standings.
be really tough, but if you get in there, then you're already in a quarterfinal.
Then you're to win 3 games.
And you're 1 win away. If you get to the quarterfinal, you're 1 win away from having a chance at a CONCACAF Champions Cup qualification.
Which is phenomenal.
You have at least, if you make it to the semifinal, you at minimum get to play in the 3rd place game, and the top 3 seeds, like we said earlier, qualify for CONCACAF Champions Cup. So for me, I feel like if you're Dean, you got punished for not pushing it all the way in U.S. Open Cup. The goal was set top 4 in trophies, so I feel like you kind of have to go for it in this one and go all out, at least in the first game against Juarez. If you fall flat against Juarez, then, okay, it's way more uphill. Like, if you lose against Juarez, it's kind of a wrap. But if you at least get 2 points out of that Juarez game, and I say 2 points because automatically we didn't touch on that.
You didn't. I'm glad you're bringing it up.
Draw, you go to PKs, and then the winner of the PKs gets 2. Loser gets 1 point. So if you get at least 2 points out of that opening game against Juarez, I think you got to keep going for it and push all out, because the chance of getting a quarterfinal game, especially if that quarterfinal game's in Charlotte, that would be a huge moment for this club and for this city. And just that
is the pathway to the Club World Cup as well.
Exactly.
If you can dream about it.
Yep.
Also, I mean, all 3 matches are at home.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So you also have that advantage that, you know, any
not
team
traveling to play Cruz Azul in Dallas randomly.
That was
like 2 years ago. Like, come on.
Yeah.
That's the good thing of the new format. I really like it.
Yeah.
Hey, Latanzio was pretty good in those home games in Houston.
Well, actually, the team kind of woke up during Leagues Cup in the Latanzio era.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
I think Swiderski missed a penalty against Cruz Azul. So, but we won't talk about that anymore. You know, and so I also just want to see that, like, when Cruz Azul played Charlotte last year at Bank of America, it was phenomenal. The atmosphere, like, this was the first time I've seen, like, a crowd from an opposing team take over a bit.
I think she was going to bring more people.
Yeah, I agree too, because they travel well. America, you know, and Cruz Azul are kind of the top 3 when it comes to bringing. But Monterrey's up there too.
I mean, Monterrey has Sergio Ramos.
Yeah.
You know, and a bunch of European stars. Sergio Canales, you have Lucas Ocampos, Berterame, a bunch of Mexican national team players. They're the third most valued team in Mexico. It's around 80 million. So it's a squad that spends heavily, and they have a lot of talent, as we said. They tied against Inter Milan in the Club World Cup.
They did. Sergio Ramos goal.
You know, they almost beat River Plate. It's gonna be quite a challenge against Monterrey.
Yep, phenomenal. All right, so moving on from Leagues Cup, let's talk about some exciting news that we heard 2 weeks ago now, right? Yeah. Well, Charlotte FC will be hosting the MLS All-Star Match in 2026. I mean, growing up as a Charlotte kid, in my wildest dreams would I thought we've had the amount of soccer that we've had in this city. From just high-level matches, Chelsea versus Charlotte FC, you know, that first season, Copa America semifinal here, you know, Club World Cup matches. And now next year we're hosting the MLS All-Star, the best players in MLS, right, come into our city. From what I'm hearing, Charlotte wants to make this the biggest MLS All-Star game of all time. So it's going to be very, very exciting to, one, showcase our city to MLS, and to see what Charlotte does. We're working on some really cool things, too, that we're not going to share just yet. But I'm just fired up about having MLS All-Star here. I'll start off with you, Eddie. How exciting is it to continue to see those high-level?
It is very, very exciting, especially like growing up in Charlotte. I've seen it from, you know, when I think we had, what was it, Charlotte Independence back in the day.
Yeah.
And now we have, you know, Charlotte FC here, now taking it to the next level, getting the All-Star game. I think it's going to be huge for the city. I think it's going to be huge for the sport. I think it's going to, I'm excited. I think everything that's going to bring to the city is going to be great.
Yep. People will be walking up in Uptown. Make sure you stop by the pub, right?
Right here, 2 blocks away.
Love that. Tono, give us your thoughts on MLS All-Stars here in Charlotte.
I'm already excited. And, you know, ever since Don Garber came here just to do the press conference and just looking what Austin did in the MLS All-Star this year, I think is the city, the fans, FC has earned it. And as you said, it's just putting Charlotte soccer in the map again, in the world map. So I'm really excited. Really excited to see what activities are you guys planning also.
Oh, yeah. Well, listen, you got to sign the NDA first.
You got to do a media, you know, 11v11 game.
We got some stuff in the plans. So
I like it.
Hey, I'm looking forward to watching Messi play and also game.
right? Hey, we're gonna touch on that in a little bit. But yeah.
Imagine Messi being selected to the next All-Star and he's not coming. You will not be happy. Right?
We'll touch about it in a little bit.
I had a counter already.
Let's just focus on Charlotte right now, you know. Talk to me, Brian. I mean, we're seeing Liga MX versus MLS All-Stars. I think we're both in agreement. I'd love to see East versus West, right?
Me too, 100%. Look, we're so hyped about this Charlotte All-Star game. next year that we're dropping teasers 360 days in advance.
I'm about to post an emoji right now.
But yeah, I mean, I definitely would prefer an East versus West. I think we saw it this year. I mean, what does it take for Charlotte FC to get an All-Star? I guess it takes hosting the event.
Hey,
maybe
Patrick
we'll see.
Ajiman was an All-Star, bro.
That's true. Fair. But
And he didn't get suspended. So so if he comes back to MLS, does he have that one suspension?
He gets that one All-Star game in like 2029.
And now we got how to make sure that Pep Biel plays in an All-Star.
Yeah. Well,
he deserved it. He deserved it.
Well, they got to give
deserves it.
They got to give him that DP contract though, So we'll see.
Yeah.
Imagine another loan next year.
Nah, that's not gonna happen. No.
Oh man, yeah. I also love the one thing I do love about MLS All Stars too. It's like very different from everyone else, where you have like the skills challenges, and I think
Love
like
it.
there's a lot of stuff that I don't like that MLS does. But this is one of the things that I do love that they do, right? Because it's something different. It's unique. Obviously, as it continues to grow, I think we're in agreement that I'd love to see more East versus West, because there's a lot of good talents. I mean, like, I think Evander just added an extra pulse to who he was already just by showcasing the type of baller he is at the MLS All-Stars, right?
And just having fun. You saw like Diego Luna was just smiling. They were all kind of just having fun, hanging out. Just you saw more just like lighthearted personality out of these players, and I think it gave an opportunity for a player like Evander to really shine and show that he can be sort of an ambassador for this sport or for the MLS as a whole. And I just think that's an important part of what the All-Star Game is supposed to bring. It's supposed to highlight these players and just give them a chance to kind of shine as individuals. And I think that's what Evander especially did.
For sure. All right, we'll touch on it, right? Messi missing the MLS All-Star match. Tono, I'll start off with you. Give me your thoughts on that.
I think if you're the face of the league, you should be playing in the All-Star game. I love Messi. I'm a big Messi fan. I think he's the best player I've ever seen in my life. But if you're that type of personality, you should be there, or at least make the scheduling better. Just have the league just rest for a week. Don't play in the weekend. Make them play, in the All-Star during the weekend so everybody can be here. Again, if you're the face of MLS, Messi should have been there. But I can understand his positioning just because the scheduling, just like we had in May, Miami's schedule right now is crazy. But I would have loved just to see Messi at the All-Star game, because that's why he was brought here. Last year, I don't think he should have been the MVP last year. To me, it was for Cucho Hernandez. But this year, Messi's playing like the MVP again.
Yeah.
So he
leading the team, I think.
should have been there in the
contributions.
MLS All-Star game.
Yeah. I mean, I think two things were wrong, right? Him missing it, and also
the
like
timing and the schedule.
the timing, the schedule, because I think Mascherano brought that up, and it's true.
Yeah.
Like,
Absolutely.
also, I feel like MLS made it a bigger deal than it needed to be, and it kind of took away from your Evanders, from the players that were out there, even the goalie for Austin. Why is his name escaping me right now?
Brad
Stuver, right? Like, he got to showcase his city. That was cool, right? So, like, to me, it was like the people that complain about Messi getting all the attention were just giving Messi the attention for not being there as well, versus, like, they could have said, okay, he's not here, we'll handle it, right? But let's focus on the players that are here, that want to be here, that kind of earned being here as well, right? So, and I also think it's more of like, it goes again to where, like, if I'm like the commissioner or people up there, I'm not going to tell people that Messi's not coming because, like, they're not selling tickets. I mean, like, I'm sure they're playing some sort of dark arts when it comes to that. We're like, we don't know, but I'm sure, like, Messi knew he wasn't going, and Miami knew he wasn't going. Right.
I feel like the All-Star Game also just kind of became the scapegoat for all of Miami's schedule congestion as a whole, and it just became like the All-Star Game is like the easiest of all of the commitments. It's like a 20-minute showing. He already doesn't run. It would have been like 20 seconds of Messi running. That's all we would have been asking for, right? So it's like of the commitments, the All-Star Game was probably the easiest commitment. They had like the Club World Cup slammed into the Leagues Cup, slammed into they were just game after game after game. So I think the All-Star Game kind of ended up taking, just being the scapegoat for just what Miami's had to deal with kind of a lot this season in just terms of how many games the MLS has kind of piled on them and just piled on the league as a whole. And I feel like that, for me, is one of the other bigger issues. Like, the All-Star game shouldn't have been the big statement. It's like, look at all these other situations that you're kind of putting these players through. The 5 games in 15 days, like leading up to the All-Star game. Like, how do you find, like you said, like how do you find a break in there to allow the All-Star game?
You can just show it to the skills game challenges.
100%.
And maybe not play.
Yeah.
It didn't look like they were playing hard.
Yeah.
To avoid the suspension and all this
Or
talking.
or just say you got a thigh injury, fly the PJ out, have him shake his hand 10 minutes, put him back, and let him go home. You know, like
Traveling is still difficult.
huh?
Traveling still takes time.
I think for Messi, like Don will spend some money to pick him up and drop.
There's not an all-star private jet that Don Garber's got locked away
There
somewhere
definitely,
for this?
hey, there probably is, right? And so, yeah, to me, it's more like all this accumulation of things. But you have a point where like this is the easiest thing to go to, right?
Yeah.
Maybe he just didn't want to see I Show Speeds, and he's a Ronaldo fan.
Biggest Ronaldo fan.
Yeah.
He saw him dabbing up Sergio Ramos, and he was like, none of this.
Right? Yeah.
Do you think we'll see that change next year? Because it's going to be a tricky time. The World Cup will just have happened, right? So even the calendar is going to be a bit off, you know? So do you think they give a weekend to that? I think it'll still be a Wednesday.
That's a good point. To me, should be during the weekend. So no MLS play, just focus on the All-Star game is going to be after the World Cup. You got to make a specific and a special plays for All-Star game just to grab the attention and get as many players as you can.
I think you do, like, if you do a Wednesday, so you do a midweek game, Wednesday MLS game. Then you do the All-Star weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then you bring it MLS back that next Friday. The only thing you do is switch the weekend like you did this week, and right? So they just don't have the weekend MLS game, push the All-Star game 2 or 3 days back, and that's it. That's all you got to do. You can do Wednesday, All-Star game weekend, and then Friday.
Yeah, listen, Don, if you're listening, Brian just told you the secret to success for next year. Nice. Okay, I want to touch also a little bit on, this summer transfer window and just looking at, like, the improvements that teams are making across the league. Obviously, like, people get upset at Miami. I mean, they just brought in Rodrigo De Paul, right? TAM player this year. He'll probably own 3 buildings in Miami that we don't know of. Right? But, I mean, that's a big coup for them, right? We're seeing Vancouver Whitecaps right now are in negotiations with Thomas Mueller, right? So, like...
Heung-min Son with LA.
Yep, Heung-min Son, LA. Right, so what are you noticing across the competitivity, is that even a word, of MLS right now?
It just grabs the attention from other clubs and other players being interested in playing here. And I've always said that the South American, like the second tier of South American market, no longer belongs to Liga MX. It belongs to MLS. Because those are the players that used to go first to Liga MX. Then if things didn't work out, they came back to South America or they went to MLS. Not anymore. MLS could be the first stop for some of these, again, second-tier players, because the first tier, Argentinian and Brazilian, they go straight up to Europe, but not anymore. So it's not just Europe, but again, the top talent, the second tier of the top talent in South America is looking more keen to move here to MLS than Liga MX.
100%. Brian?
I mean, I think it goes back to, the Messi effect as well, right? I mean, just since he's come
You
here.
just trashed him. No, I'm kidding. You go.
Well, yeah, I mean, I feel like the amount of transfers that have come in, both record signings, notable names being mentioned. I mean, Kevin De Bruyne was also a name mentioned.
Yeah, Chicago.
Looking at Chicago.
And they're not just going to, like, the big markets. Like, I mean, Vancouver, like, is not like a big market. Like, obviously it's a big city in Canada, but it's not like a huge market. And if they pull off Thomas Mueller, that'll be phenomenal for them, No,
100%. And I think it just also shows the competitiveness of the league, that there's value in coming here, not just kind of like the lifestyle. It's like, oh, no, competitiveness on the field. There's value in actually winning games and winning trophies and trying to like push for things with fans. I feel like in the past, the reason it was kind of being brought here as like a retirement league was just like they're just coming here to kind of hang out for a bit, get in front of the mic like Ibrahimovic and just kind of like, spot. He just
He didn't go to All Stars either.
Right, exactly. It's kind of like talk.
Kind of happened the other way with Olivier Giroud. That it didn't work, but it was
Yeah.
just like a fit thing,
Yeah.
not intention or that the willingness of him not coming here. Maybe Hugo Lloris helped a lot just bringing Giroud, but he's no longer in MLS. But it's just the growth of the league overall.
Yeah.
Yeah, Eddie, any thoughts on that? Seeing more high quality players in MLS.
I completely agree that it's the Messi effect played a huge part in that. It made it more, like I said, players are coming down here to be more competitive, to play soccer, and then, like, not just about the lifestyle or what they can get from the United States versus living in Europe.
Yeah, and listen, if you're leading goal contributions, you can go to Coldplay concerts, which is pretty cool.
Absolutely.
Nice, awesome. All right, one final topic, and then we'll wrap up with some score predictions for this match coming up. I want to know from you guys, like, who's the Charlotte FC player that you need to see like more of or step up that'll have an opportunity here in the Leagues Cup? You want to start us off, Brian?
I mean, I think it's got to continue to be Pep Biel.
Okay, to see more of from him?
Well, I mean, so we've seen a lot from him, but these are really competitive like matchups against like high quality opposition. Not saying like, I mean, he scored goals, but it's just like you got to get wins in tough situations. Juarez, Chivas, Monterrey are tough situations. Like if Pep Biel can lead this team to victories against, I mean that's going to be the deciding factor whether or not this team can actually make a move in the playoffs.
Yeah,
right.
That's a good point. And I think if he does something special, you start putting him in those MVP kind of conversations. Because he's kind of there, but not really. I still think he's a tier
He's
under.
kind of fourth, fifth option.
Exactly.
Because it's Dreyer, is Messi, Evander, and Pep Biel to me.
Yeah,
those four.
But I still think like those three names have a little bit of an edge over him right now.
And even a Sam Surge, he's like right near.
Even Sam
That's a
Surge,
good point.
And Nashville's in second or third, and they look like a Supporter Shield contender. There's a
Absolutely.
lot of teams that are actually like getting results in tough situations and putting themselves in a position
I actually
to
like
win.
that take a lot.
Right, Supporter Shield. So like, BL has done a lot of good words. He's stat padded, but it's like you're still in 7th place. You still haven't really answered a lot of the questions that were like the questions being asked at the beginning of this season. And I think this is a moment where you can show. But it's not even like you kind of like. It's a free roll of the dice, right? Leagues Cup technically doesn't decide your season, but you have an opportunity to present yourself as a team that can compete and actually still push for top 4, even though that's a really small probability, even with the success they've had. And so I think Pep Biel being the star that can shine in a tough situation, which this team's had like an easy road, and that's why I feel like a big part of the reason why they've gotten the results. So showing that they can do that against some tough Liga MX competition would be a huge lift.
Okay. Tono, who you got as a player you need to see more of?
I want to see more Eric Williamson minutes.
Okay.
I want to see Eric playing more. So I think he's a really good 8. He progresses really well. He carries the ball well. He has been played a little bit higher, subbing Pep Biel in some games, but I think he should be playing alongside Westwood or Bronico in that same level. I want to see more minutes of Williamson, and also Abada needs to step up.
100%.
Liel Abada needs to step up.
Hey, I
now.
was coming for him if you were. Nice. Eddie, anyone you want to see more minutes from?
Tocomati.
Okay, you want to continue to see him?
I want to come see a little bit more of him, see what he can do. Of course, Patrick is gone now, so I want to see if he can fill in his shoes and play against more competitive teams when he plays against Chivas and Monterrey.
Nice.
How he performs.
And also see Nathan Byrne again.
Yeah.
What level, the fitness level, the soccer level again.
Yeah.
If he's ready to contribute, because we need him.
Yeah. I was going to go Abada 100%. Like, bro, you're a DP, dude. Like, you need to step up for this team. And to be fair, he came on this last match and looked lively. He played a phenomenal ball to Toklomati, I think. I mean, his finish wasn't great, but you saw like a little pep in Abada's step, right? And so I think like it's a crucial time for him, because if you're a DP and you don't play an important factor in a team in MLS, that's a tough situation to be in, right? And so for him, and I think for Charlotte FC, because when you're paying this guy what he's making and he came in for $8 million, like that's tough to have a resale value right, coming from Celtic to the MLS. So that's a player I want to see more of. Hopefully, he could do something in the Leagues Cup. So we'll see. We'll answer this question from Trent. He's asking, are we going to use a DP spot this window or save it to buy Pep? No way he isn't DP if purchased, right? So when you're looking at this transfer window, right, how would you address that, Brian?
I mean, you gave yourself an option to get a DP by not having to sign Pep Biel to that,
which was so key,
right? So now the question mark is, if you do sign a third DP, you have to negotiate with Pep Biel for a DP contract at the end of the year. Now that sticks you in a situation where you have 4 technically on the roster, and that kills all your negotiation power for Abada. That's kind of the situation you had with loan, so. Right, exactly. That's the situation you had with Swiderski. That was part of the other reason we didn't talk about earlier. It was like you ran out of DP spots. You kind of had to move one of them, and you kind of you realize you're trying to cut one guy, and then teams realize that, and they can just wait for the price to drop. And so that is the one downside. If you do sign a DP this window and you keep things the same, you don't move Abada or any of these other guys, you kind of are stuck with a situation where in the winter you have 4 DPs on the roster and teams know they can buy low on you.
100%. Tono, anything you want to add on
I'd
that?
rather save that DP slot to Pep Biel, honestly. I don't see this summer window bringing in a DP caliber player.
Yeah.
I wish we could have done it, but for that striker position, just to compete with Toklomati's spot, I think I'd rather have a experienced MLS striker.
1,000%.
Just be the sub and backup and push Toklomati. I think Idan, he's just in a great track just to keep performing for us. Yeah. I think we also need a fullback, maybe helping the midfield, but I would love to use a DP right now, but I don't think that's gonna happen.
Honestly, I think if they go DP9, that's such a waste. Seeing what Toklomati has done.
It literally puts yourself in the situation that they keep doing year after year, which is like, let's keep making striker sagas when you don't need to. You don't need to keep doing this.
100%.
I will say, I had a question for you guys. Is just, if you have an opportunity to move Abada this summer, do you? And then does that change things in terms of getting a new DP at a different position, or do you try to replace a winger?
Yes, 1,000%. I would sell them and then try to get maybe another DP in.
A DP winger, or would you go to a different position and just kind of run with Vargas / Cambridge and whoever small?
That's a good question because
I can see
that's a lot of moving parts.
That is a lot of moving parts.
I can see that happening next year, maybe not this summer.
Yeah.
Moving on from Abada's DP spot.
That's a really good question.
Yeah.
I have to think about that.
You gotta make, but I mean, if you're trying to move on potentially, he's already lost his starting spot. I mean.
Yeah, because you could go for like another DP8, but then you'd have 2 DPs in the midfield and 1 as a winger, right? Or you can, it's a lot. That's a really good question, actually. All right. Last thing we'll go into is a couple of score predictions for this Juarez game, and I'll start off with you, Eddie. What are you feeling for this game?
1-0 Charlotte FC.
How much?
1-0.
Nice. Who scores it for you? Toklomati?
Or Vargas?
Vargas, nice. Hello, Vargas right here. Nice. Tono?
I'll go 3-1. Liga MX just started. It's just 3 games. They're not in a great shape. And also Juarez, they've never made the playoffs in Liga MX. They're kind of rebuilding. They have interesting pieces. They have Rodolfo Pizarro that play here in MLS.
Yeah, for Miami. He was Miami's first DP.
Miami.
Right?
Another trivia for you guys.
All right.
Juarez had a player that was very close to sign for Charlotte FC back in 2023.
It was the Venezuelan winger.
You got it.
Oh my God! Why can't I get his name? Machis.
Darwin Machis. Yeah.
Boom! Look at yo. I got that knowledge right there.
That's a good one.
Hey, I'm 2 for 2 with your trivia.
I know with Efraim. Yeah, I'm impressed, bro. But yeah.
See, it threw me off. He was 2022, not 2023.
No, it was 23. Well, yeah, 22 and 23.
No, this is the 2022.
Actually, it was 2022, yeah.
He was going to be before that.
Well, when he said Juarez, I knew who the player was because I remember him signing for them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think...
skipped the 2023.
I go by years, not
I think
by
Juarez
teams.
is not in a great shape. It's like a low-profile, low-budget team. So 3-1, I would like to see a 3-1 for Charlotte.
I think this is very favorable for Charlotte.
Let's go 3-2. Let's do some fireworks. Let's have a big showing, a lot of goals.
Nice. All right, I'm gonna go 3-1 as well. I'd like to see another Vargas goal, maybe a Bada get a goal, right? Start building up that sale value, and then maybe Williams.
Are you his agent? Or you want more money? Or?
Hey, look,
Hey.
I was pushing up that Ajimon transfer for years. I've
Yeah.
been working on that deal for
Hey,
years.
I want
now.
some commission. Nice.
Percentage of the future sale. Right?
Yeah, add that in.
Yeah.
Hey, you should have gotten that deal for Patrick. Like, hey, percentage of that future sale needs to come to me.
There it is.
Nice. Eddie, before we go, I'd love you to touch again on, here, the pub in Uptown. Tell us a little bit about it.
We're a restaurant bar. We're about 2 blocks from Bank of America Stadium. We are the place for all your sports needs, football, baseball, soccer, of course. We are the official home of the Barcelona Peña,
Hey, Vizca Barça.
Vizca Barça. And we serve a full menu till 1:30, open till 2 a.m. every night. Always have different events throughout the week, music bingo on Tuesday nights, and then just all the games for Charlotte FC. We show them all.
Nice. And we got something exciting. We will be here August 10th, and we'll be throwing a watch party here. FC Cincinnati versus Charlotte FC, the Battle of the Queen City. We're going to have some giveaways that night. We're going to have, a lot of fun. We'll be doing some post-match interviews. We're going to fill this place out. So it's going to be a phenomenal event. Can't wait to have everybody there. It's going to be a Sunday. We're going to kick things off at 5 o'clock here. So make sure you're here August 10th. With that said, Brian, where can everybody find you?
Yeah, y'all can find me on X at Mauer Media, and you can find all my written content at TopBin90.com and CSN.com.
CSN.com, college soccer news too. Follow that
there it
page. Toño?
Where you guys can listen to the Charlotte FC Spanish radio network at 106.1 FM. We're live 30 minutes early for a pregame show. Every single game, home or away. We're going to do Leagues Cup as well. So tune in for 106.1 FM to listen to every Charlotte FC game in Spanish.
And you guys do a phenomenal job. You bring some great analysis. Jaime, I love Jaime's energy.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, no.
Every single time.
And then, Eddie, where can people find you here at the pub?
On Instagram, the Public Gateway. We're there. Also, you can check out our website, thepublicgateway.com. All our information, our location, and we got free parking.
Nice. Yeah. Hey, that's big in Uptown. That's huge in Uptown.
Double in Uptown. Yeah.
Nice. Listen, we've 350 people are on this live. Thank you guys so much for watching. Another episode 35 of the Top Bin 90 podcast comes to an end. Follow us on all socials. Go.